Do you remember the last time that you felt completely free, curious, unafraid, like you did when you were a child? Many of us think that we lose that aspect of us. But the thing is that it never leaves you. It's an internal compass. It's always there and it's just waiting for you. Our inner child is the most true and authentic parts of us. It's our true selves. It's who we were before society told us who we were supposed to be. It's who we were before we've had to adapt due to trials, pressures, for some people, trauma. These things mold us and give us an urgency to be defensive. So we put up a wall and we hide who we truly are. So much so that we forget ourselves sometimes. We become unrecognizable to ourselves for the sake of survival and for the sake of expectations that are put on us. Sometimes these expectations are cultural. Sometimes these expectations are based off of the necessity. Like if you want to get a certain job and if you want to get out of a certain situation and live a particular lifestyle, there's aspects of you that you have to suppress and shapeshift and become. Sometimes it's for the better. Sometimes those things help us become a better person. But from what I've seen with a lot of people, including myself at times, is that it works the exact opposite. We start to wonder why we feel sad or depressed or anxious, or we feel like something is missing and we just can't put our finger on it. But that could very well be the source. But that doesn't mean that we lost ourselves. That just means that we've tucked away a part of us that is free, that is curious, and we can always return to it like that. So I'm just going to offer a few suggestions today, and I've written them down so that I can just be more clear about it instead of mentally riffing the ideas. So the first way to reconnect is through stillness and meditation. If we sit in silence and we just breathe, it helps us sort of organize our thoughts like a file cabinet, and we can recognize what we don't want to plague our minds and what we want to replace it with. So there's plenty of different methods of meditation, but just give it a try. Just give yourself a minute to be still, to breathe. You know, one of the methods that I like to use is I like to breathe in for 5 seconds, hold my breath for another 5 seconds, and then breathe out, exhale for another 5 seconds. And I do that about 5 times. So it's 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. But yeah, that helps ground me. It helps quiet all of the noise because you kind of get like this euphoric feeling in your brain, and it really does help me focus. But there's so many different ways to get yourself in the zone of meditation. That's just one way. But we're on YouTube. You can do the research, right? The second way that I like to reconnect with my inner child is through being in nature. Now, granted, I'm in New York City, the concrete jungle. So emphasis on the concrete part. But I do find a lot of parks. Sometimes I do like to go upstate. It doesn't necessarily have to be nature. You just need to find a place that you feel comfortable and a place that grounds you. I'm a bit of a library nerd, so sometimes I like to travel to libraries that I haven't been before, and it's a really nice, quiet place for me to just explore, and my inner child just loves that. But I also like to go to different parks. Like you can go to Prospect Park if you're in the city. There's just so many places that you can go that you can connect with nature. And the thing is that, you know, a lot of us stray from that in the wintertime. And I totally understand that because it's cold outside, it's getting darker, but maybe have a different perspective on the idea of nature isn't always in reference to springtime. It's not always in reference to summer. And there doesn't always have to be a bunch of flowers, a bunch of trees and, you know, that are blooming, etc. Maybe you can, you know, as children, we watched a lot of Christmas themed movies and this whole concept of the winter wonderland, etc. So even if you visit some of these parks in the winter, of course, be safe. You know, don't walk into ice and all of that. Be very safe. But allow your mind, allow your imagination to step into the area that you are. Think about what it reminds you of. Think back to movies that you watched when you're in certain places. Like if you go to a particular library and it's big, I don't know, maybe think you're at Hogwarts or whatever. Just role play for a minute and see what that does for you. For me, it really does help me get in tune with my inner child. And I start to feel all types of joy, and I start to reminisce and think about the things that reminded me of in my childhood. And it really helps my creativity as well when I have artist block. So that's number 2, is put yourself in nature or in settings where your curiosity and your imagination can run wild. I do have meditation videos coming up on my channel that I will be posting more regularly. So if you struggle to sit and meditate yourself, which for a lot of people, I find that it's hard for them, you can just plug in your earphones or put on your speaker, find a quiet place, and just follow along and relax. That's all you have to do. And that brings me to the third method, which is creativity and feeding your curiosity. Every act of creating, whether it's painting, cooking, dancing, writing, decorating, collage, drawing, you can conceptualize anything. And if you spend time doing that regularly, even go back in the coloring book. I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, 80, I don't care. You can pick up anything. Get back in the coloring book. The point is not to care what other people think about what you're doing, because it's for you. And most of the time, when people judge you, it's not even their fault. They're just subject to programming. It's not even their fault. You be free though, okay? But any act of creating helps us get in tune with what our intentions are. And you don't even have to be good at it. Sometimes when I'm making a painting, yeah, I'll have like a concept. Sometimes I just see images subconsciously when I meditate or in a dream, and then I'll want to replicate what I saw or how something made me feel. But I wouldn't necessarily know what the meaning is sometimes until the very end, until I'm done with it and I'm able to look at it. Because my favorite part is decoding what it is that I just created. Even when I was in college and I was studying fine arts, those were my favorite courses were history. And when we would go to the museums and I would just look at an image and figure out what the meaning is. Take some time to look at it, analyze the color, think about the questions that I have. Why did they compose it in that particular way? The same thing with music. I do the same thing with music, actually. I like to do the research too, to figure out. It's not enough sometimes for me to just listen to a song. I like to dive deep and learn the artist's intention behind a lot of the music. But it's like, think of it like little nuggets of discovery. Like you're uncovering something, you're decoding something. You're like an archaeologist of your own spirit, of yourself. And it's really fun. And it helps you connect different things that have happened in your life and the way that you've responded to different things. And then moving forward, when you respond to things that are happening to you or things that are happening for you, when you're responding to your environment, you have a bit more of an understanding, because through the act of creating, you're able to figure out who you truly are, what you like, what you don't like, why you don't like it, why you do like it, why you're attracted, or why things are attracted to you. What I would like you to take away from this video is that your inner child is always there with you, always there. They're just waiting for you to pay attention. And the best ways that you can pay attention is through creative acts, through exploration, exploring different environments or being in nature, and meditating. It is then that we can come to a sense of self and we can work through a lot of the confusing emotions that we have, or the confusing thoughts, wondering our place in the world. You're right where you need to be. So that being said, thank you for watching. And as always, I'm here with you. And I hope that if this reaches one person and it helps one person, that's enough for me. That's fulfilling for me. I would like more, but one person is enough. Thank you. Bye-bye.